we're just the game on now is the bird battle of the beaches and the birds, the Roosters versus Seagulls. They were very impressive, Matthew. Your little fella, Brooks again.
He's good, mate. He just, I mean, you don't want to rub it into Tigers fans, but it's the truth. He's playing with a smile on his face.
But it's a little bit different playing for the Tigers when you've got an international at the back and an international inside.
Well, that's right. That's right, Fletch. No, it is. And I said last night, it's really interesting watching Brooksy. For Brooksy, even though he's primarily a runner of the football, he's a very organised player. Like, he does organise well. And so, whereas you've got Daly Cherry Evans, I was talking to Cooper because Coop played, of course, last year with Daly Cherry Evans.
Pre-season MVP.
Yeah, MVP, of course. And I said, what was it like? What was Daly like? He goes, mate, he said, it was just so different. He said, Melbourne, everything's organised and choreographed. He said, Daly would just, not a big talker on the field. He said, talks, but, mate, will just do things like so impetuous. Just go bush up a short side and just really plays what he sees. He's such a reactive player. He said it took a while to get used to it. And I was watching him yesterday. Mate, there were a couple of times yesterday, just on gut feel, he'd just go shooting up a 3-metre short side.
Yeah.
And then go, it's not on. He'd jump around the other way. Very unorthodox player.
So is Tom organising it all?
Brooksy was saying that Tom is an incredible talker on the field. That's what's made things a lot easier. Tom's tipping. He's walking behind.
Yeah, you see him talking. I was thinking that.
Yeah.
You see him during the game yelling at orders a lot, but I wasn't sure if that's calling plays for himself or if it's organising the entire side.
I reckon he gets a little bit cranky too.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
he does.
And it's only going to get worse as you get older.
Did you find you got crankier as you got older?
I get real cranky now.
Oh, now?
I blew up at the Garbo the other day when I'd never blow up at a Garbo.
Really?
Well, and I didn't realise because usually they've got a couple of guys on the back, the guy driving, and I was in a one-way street in Bondi, as it's always, it's only one.
And he stopped in front of you.
And I'm thinking, come on, mate, I've got to go. I've got to hurry up. And he just jumped out and he's walking around and he came in and wanted to have a chat. And I said, mate, I've got to go. And he goes, oh, okay, it'll be like that. And then he just sat in his truck and ate his stupid pineapple donut. Far out. I could see him in the revision mirror.
Don't mess. Two people you don't mess with. Bikies and Garbos.
Yeah.
Ones that don't pick up the rubbish, and the others just.
Some of them are involved in both.
Yeah,
I don't want to say the company.
Yeah.
Just on
your Chooks were right though. I thought the Chooks only had 39% of the ball, and I suppose they're to blame for that because of the errors. They come up with a lot of unforced errors, but I thought they played really tough yesterday, the Roosters, because from the opening kickoff, I thought that a number of the players looked quite tired and flat. I thought Victor looked really tired yesterday. They just,
Well, it's hard to win there, Brookvale, isn't it?
It's a heavy track too.
It's hard to win there. But, no Luke Keary, you would think. He had that head knock, so...
Geez, I tell you what, Fletch, isn't that going to be a game Friday night?
Oh, yeah.
Isn't it? Geez, there's some stuff going on at the Bunnies.
Well, they're saying that Lachlan Ilias is going to be dropped.
Look, this weekend.
But they got the Chooks have got the 5-day turnaround. So Souths have got 8 days because they played on
There's
Thursday.
a Roosters fan starting to make excuses already.
Well, Jason...
No. I'm saying that Souths have been on the floor and everyone's into them.
Who's coming in? Hawkins or Whiten?
Hawkins
they're saying
7 and Whiten to centre.
Because, I mean, Jason Demetrio, coming into this season, he was under a lot of pressure, and one of the things was, missing the finals last year, but there was also the Sam thing that went on.
Yeah.
Where Sam pointed out some unpopular truths, and they picked JD over Sam, and of course Sam's in Warrington now. So all those things were placed on Jason Demetrio's shoulders. But, mate, being 0-2 and just the circumstance around a lot of the stuff that's going on, mate, the pressure's intensifying.
Well,
and, of course, today, Josh Mansour, there was Josh Mansour with the Jimmy Graham interview.
What happened? Have we got any of that, Brooks?
We've got a bit.
Can we play it now?
Yes.
Tourist has got another new hat on, listener.
I love it.
Are you my dad? Interesting.
Was he ever... No, he wouldn't have been under him.
Yes, he was.
He was he?
Yes.
Okay.
And it was probably just exactly what Jason Demetrio didn't need.
No, not at this
today.
time.
But it's funny because, like, the source he's a pretty measured, good guy.
Yeah.
So
but sometimes a winger scorned. Hell hath no fury like a winger scorned.
Here we go.
I'll be totally honest. Like, I probably didn't see eye to eye with the coach with JD, which was a shame on a few things. I don't know. We just didn't have a good rapport. I feel like every time he spoke to me, he didn't kind of live up to what he was saying, and I let it get to me. Like I just kind of once, twice, but there was just multiple conversations which didn't go the way that he was saying was going to go. And I was like, I'm a man of my word. Like, I was holding him to every single conversation that we had. And I was frustrated, man. I was so frustrated that final year.
Oh, there you go.
It goes on. It goes on
extends.
from there. Yeah. So basically, says Demetrio was promising, you're in the team this week, then would ghost him, tell him that he needed to be rested from games.
Round one. Going into round
Yeah,
one.
to the point. Yeah,
I'm going to rest you.
to the point where apparently Mansour told him to get effed and left his office, and then at the end of the season, they didn't tell him that he's moving on. They did a farewell video, and he was the first one to pop up on the video, and no one had spoken to him.
Oh, what Mad
So-
Mondays would have
So
been interesting.
Demetrio needs a win.
He needs a win, and they might be desperate enough to have it.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for Lockie Ilias in the sense that now he's got Whiten back in the team. Like, he never really got a chance to play with a full complement.
Tough. It's interesting, Fletch. Like I tell you what South need. South need they need a new system. Like they're moving players in and out, and I was of the belief that I don't think that Whiten is going to give them the impact they need him to give playing in the centre, playing in that 10-metre corridor. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the presence will be enough. I thought they might have moved him more into the centre field to give him, sort of straighten him up and give him a bit of punch. Because at the moment, just the style of football they're playing, they're just putting so much pressure on themselves. They're so pass-centric, trying to play around teams, coming up with a lot of errors. They haven't got the defence to withstand the pressure they're putting on themselves. And the thing about it is, like, what the disappointing thing, because I've got to be careful. I'm a Newcastle man, but I'm a Bunnies man. I love the club. My son had 2 years there, and they were so good to him. I saw what a great club it was, and my two heroes, Clive Churchill and Johnny Sadler, Newcastle boys. I mean, Johnny Sadler, Johnny Sadler grew up in the house next door to my old man, so there's a link there. But they, going into the end of last season, boys, we saw how bad their football dropped off, and I thought, you know what? The end of the year, the season's ended. It's going to give them an opportunity to recalibrate, rejig their football, but it hasn't changed, Fletch. Now, if you compare that to the Sharks, and we showed the Sharks last night, Missile, with Nico Hines, the Sharks have obviously sat there and said, righto, why aren't we successful against the best teams? Why aren't we winning finals football? And they've addressed that. They are playing a really physical, tough style of football. I just look at South and I think to myself, boys, did you sit there? Did you discuss what happened at the back end of last year? Why you dropped off a cliff? Because really, Fletch, not a lot of it's changed.
No, and I suppose if they want to get some sort of blueprint, look at what Canberra are doing. So Canberra have gone 13 plus, although it was against the Tigers, but they did 13 plus against the Knights, and they scored a lot of their points, especially against Newcastle at the back end, where they were just wearing teams down. Now South could do that.
Yeah,
if they get down there in good ball, they're very hard to stop.
Fletch, you always should view talent as a bonus. The talent is the cream on top of the cake. If you try to base your game, or if you trust your talent too much, when teams do that, they do fall off a cliff. And that's the example, Fletch. We're talking about the Raiders. The Raiders lost Whiten, and they've obviously gone away and said, righto, what do we need to do to be successful? We need to compete really high. We need to fight for everything. We've got to have stiff defence. We've got to be gritty. We've got to be tough. And they don't suffer an identity crisis. That's exactly what they are.
Can I just ask you on that Raiders-Tigers game, we saw the battle of the two 5'8", 119, 118, Ethan Strange and young Lachlan Galvin. It's always super intriguing when these young halves come through because, I don't know, as we go through time, it seems like less and less of them go on to be stars. They seem to struggle, really young halves. Of those two, who do you think is a better prospect as a long-term half for their club?
Oh, it's so tough, Missile, because, I really liked what Ethan did. He got really fit. And they're different footballers, Missile. The tough thing for young Lachlan is the fact that, he's playing in a team that is struggling. He's playing behind a pack of forwards that were badly beaten. Mate, the kid had one hand tied behind his back, so it's very, very hard to judge. But both of them have got a good future.
Do you remember when, Matty, the Broncos got the spoon? Was that 2020?
Yes,
Tommy did. Remember Tommy Dearden was making his debut?
Yeah.
And they basically, and Kevy came out afterwards and said his forwards let him down. So look at Tommy now. So that's three seasons ago, 4 seasons ago. I can see a little bit of Tommy did in this Galvin.
Yeah.
Like, he just kept trying. Like, this is his first game. He was over-calling it, although Caesar,
despite
is a new-
the game, he still had 14 runs, 146 metres, 34 post-contact, 3 tackle breaks, line break.
Yeah.
He's a good
Got after it.
He's a really good prospect. He's got a little bit of swagger about him. He's a very
Pretty
confident
tall.
kid. He's tall.
Yeah.
He's
Might end up like a Isaiah Yeo type player.
Fletch, he's a clever ball player, but also on top of that, he's a terrific runner of the football. So look, he has got a big future. It's funny about Tommy Dearden. Like, hasn't Tom Dearden? Like, I think eventually you get what you deserve, one way or another. And for Tom, he has been coming through the grades as a young bloke, incredibly dedicated. They told me, but come into that time at the Broncos, you could not come into a worse situation. You really couldn't. Every single person under pressure in the club, just.
Well, we saw it inside into Tommy Dearden. We're doing that push-up challenge. So this was in the off-season, Missile, and we're doing it to every team, every club. It's that Sally.
Bring Sally up.
Yeah.
Bring
So
Sally
anyway,
up.
Tommy was near the last team we did. So a lot of the blokes would stop. Dylan Brown.
It's like a 3 minute. It's like 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
Yeah.
Anyway, Tommy
Dylan
Dearden.
Brown, honestly, from the first push-up till his 60th, whinged everyone, didn't he?
He probably could have kept going. Tommy Dearden won, and you
Yeah.
could just see that he didn't want to get beat.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't say too much. His body was shaking, and I said, "That's enough, Tommy. You've got the record." He just kept going.
He said, the coach, Toddy Payton, when I interviewed him last year, I said, like, how good Tom has been. I said, tell me what shape he turned up to when he went to the Cowboys from the Broncos. And he openly said, Tom was a shell. He said he'd second guess himself. He said he wouldn't talk. At training, he'd be biting his fingernails. He said he was a nervous wreck. But through whatever his makeup is, he's gone through that. And 2 games into his captaincy, you just know he's going to be one of the best captains in the competition.
Well, we've got a half in here. Can I ask you one other question on halves?
Yeah, no
Bulldogs 0-2. Burton and Hutchison in the halves.
Yep.
Stick or switch? Sexton.
Stick or flick.
Stick
Well, this
or
should be a
flick?
new segment.
Stick or flick.
Stick or flick.
Firstly on Burton, good on Burton, because Burton was being chewed up by what he perceived were responsibilities in organising the side. And here's something. I said this the other day on this is testimony to the character of Matt Burton. Well, I went on with Cooper Cronk, and we did it on Thursday show, and I was a believer. I said, I think Matty, even for a short time, should go back to centre to stimulate his running game and get him going. Then you might move him back, but I think he needs that move. Well, bugger me, I get a phone call the next day, and I look down, and it's Matt Burton. I thought, oh, here we go. You get these.
Yeah,
I've had ones when I write articles about coaches, and they ring and you go, mate, please, 600 words of free advice. Read it again, champ. Anyway, so Birdo rings me, and I said, aha. I said, Birdo, let me guess what this is about. And he said, no, Matty. He said, I just listened to you and Cooper Cronk were talking about. Can you extend on that for me? Tell me, like, what you think. Anyway, we just said we had a bit of a chat about it, and he was really good. But what you saw of him the other day was that he really uncomplicated his game. Didn't tangle himself in knots. He didn't try to steer the side around the park. He didn't try to finesse the football. He did one of 2 things. He either took on the bloke in front of him with his size, speed, and his footwork, because he's a big guy, or he just fed kick out early.
Yeah.
Very simple.
Worked.
One of 2 things.
Yep.
And he was fantastic. He was really good. With the Hutchinson thing, it was funny because I watched Sexton through the trials. I liked what I saw in Sexton.
Yeah, me too.
But, it is hard to chop and change with the halves.
Do you think with the Bulldogs now, that left side is everything?
Yeah.
There's not much happening on the right side with Hutchison. Taff
But they've got young
prefers to swing to
Preston
that
who-
left as well.
Last year, Preston was the go-to.
Every
man.
time they loaded up, though, they just went settler to the right,
Yeah,
left,
come back to the
left,
left.
left. The
Yes.
game plan now, if you're playing the Bulldogs, surely is just we stack that left side and we're good to go.
It's difficult because, Burton, Kickout, and Crichton have got that understanding. They played a fair bit of football together with the Panthers. The other side of the field, mate, they're basically, as far as combinations, they're still strangers.
Yeah.
So they'll get there. I think I can actually see the Bulldogs
coming
picking
good
up
late.
in the middle of the season, Fletch.
Yeah.
I reckon they'll get going because, mate, the Sharks are playing. The Sharks are playing great football. Their football has really improved, playing far more physical, playing exactly how they need to play if they're going to have an impact in the finals. And they stuck it for a long time with the Sharks. It was a great first half of football.
All right, we've got to let you go to Cooper.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cooper
Vuna.
Cronk.
Cooper Vuna.
Not the Cooper
just
of the
wanna-
Johns variety.
I want to tell the listeners about this T-shirt you're wearing. It's
Yeah, I
red,
rate
blue, and it's an Adidas.
Yep, it's on debut. It's the first time I've worn
Yeah,
it.
and it's
Are you sponsored?
No, I'm not,
it's-
unfortunately.
Do any of the
I'm
boys
more than
get
happy to
freebies?
be. Hey?
Do any of the boys get freebies?
Oh, mate, the younger bloke, he's ruthless. It's just a never-ending stream. People just, mate, mattresses.
Mattresses?
used or just on that. How rank are mattresses? The stains you get, because around, do you see them? There's a lot of obviously
Yeah,
backpackers
around the road
around
in
Bondi.
Bondi,
So
yeah.
they throw them just down the street. I'm amazed by the stains, and they're not just on one side; they're everywhere.
I
Is it
know.
sweat?
Yeah, it's
Or is
sweat.
it-
But, mate, I've had a couple of big nights on the vodka. And
We?
you wake up, yeah. It's always a terrible feeling. I always go, I try to say to Trish, oh, no, she goes, what? Don't tell me. And I go, oh, no, I've had a big night sweating. You go,
Mate, I've got a story. I'll tell the ad break, but I'll just tease the audience. So I got a mate called Meadsy. He went to the sleazeball in 1995. Anyway, he got lucky with a girl, gets back to her house, and all she's got, nothing in the bedroom except a bed with a really hard plastic cover on the top. That's all. And cotton wool balls. That's all I've got for you. I'll tell you the rest after the break. We've got to go to a quick break.
Yeah,
I'll
love
be
it.
back after this. See you later.